We are back in the arena, and today we're going to look at an aggro artifacts deck that I use in order to get my wins on this free-to-play account. 100% free-to-play, always has been, always will be. Nothing's going to change there. I am building this account out from nothing in order to compete in standard later on down the road, but for now we need to get some daily wins, and we also need to be prepared for rotation happening in just a few weeks. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for being here. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and let's take a look at this deck, huh? I have talked about Dragonspark Reactor being a bit of a trap, but that's mostly relating to decks that aren't running 100% artifacts besides this Sokenzan Smelter and the Kumano faces Kakkazan. These two cards are not artifacts, that is an enchantment, and this is a creature. It is an artificer, actually, so that's interesting. Not an artifact, though. It does create artifacts, but it is not itself an artifact. But let's look at the rest of this deck and see what exactly we're going to be doing. This deck is based around two cards. Dragonspark Reactor, which, as we know from the starter deck, whenever Dragonspark Reactor or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a charge counter on Dragonspark Reactor. Pay for and sack it. It deals damage equal to the number of charge counters on up to one target player and that much damage to up to one target creature. A lot of people think about this card in the way of, getting it up to 20 and popping your opponent for 20 and the opponent dies. We're going to be using this as a 4-cost removal spell for creatures that we cannot handle with the Voltage Surge. The other thing that this is based around is the Patchwork Automaton. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, put a 1/1 counter on Patchwork Automaton. He also has Ward 2. So, you put him out on turn 2, play the Iron Apprentice, put a charge counter on him. Play the Reinforced Ronin, you put a 1/1 on him. Rabbit Battery, same difference. And if you don't have the Patchwork Automations, the chances of you getting a Dragonspark Reactor are pretty high as well, right? So, most likely, 8 of the cards are going to be either Patchwork Automations or Dragonspark Reactors. So, chances are you're going to get one of the two into your hand. And if all else fails, Sokenzan Smelter can sack things like the Iron Apprentice, create 3 1s, which become 4 2s whenever you sack him for 1. It's pretty freaking powerful. And that also counts as an artifact entering the battlefield, so it also charges Patchwork Automaton and Dragonspark Reactor. So it is multifaceted, and everything works with getting more and more artifacts out onto the battlefield. And why is it mono red? Because if you're using Dragonspark Reactor and Patchwork Automaton in order to produce value, you better have a fast deck. It has to be very fast. The mana curve on this deck is 1.4. This is one of the cheapest decks that I have ever really built. So, that's a thing. That's most certainly a thing. We're using Rabbit Batteries in order to give things haste. We're using Voltage Surge as a way to remove something that has 2 toughness, or remove something with 4 toughness while sacking an artifact itself. I've actually used these Voltage Surges a lot, just to sacrifice this Experimental Synthesizer for 1, get a card exiled, get it out onto the battlefield. Kumano faces Kakkazan is just always really good in any kind of aggro deck. Any kind of aggro deck highlighting red, Kumano faces Kakkazan is always high up there on the list of cards that you might want to put into the deck. You just get pretty good value out of it. It makes opponents' graveyards a lot less effective, and there's a lot of cards that really require graveyards that have creatures in it, and this is even in like cleric class. There's a couple of actual cleric creatures that do something, grab things out of the graveyard. Junji, great example. that deck that we just built, that reanimate deck, you know, cast or return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, stuff like that. They're going to be a little bit weaker with etchings of Kumano sticking around the battlefield. But we're not planning on sticking in these matches very long. Rodents, Rabbit Batteries, Iron Apprentice, Patchwork Automations, Dragonspark Reactors. We're hoping for very fast matches. But we do have ability to have some card draw power or some card power with Experimental Synthesizer, which when it enters the battlefield, exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. A lot of turns you have to wait till kind of turn 3 to do it, because even with the mana curve the way we have it here, I mean, 2 is the most expensive spell in this entire deck. But you almost want to play every card that you see. It doesn't matter at all whether or not it's a perfect fit for the time being. A lot of times you're going to want to put those cards out as fast as possible. Get everything rolling and swing to face and hope for best. But you always run out of fuel very fast in decks like that too. That's why we have Ogre-Head Helm. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. You reconfigure for 3. And then, whenever he or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do, discard your hand, draw 3 cards. You have no cards left in your hand? Swing with him. Or an Iron Apprentice with him attached. Sack the Iron Apprentice. Put a 1/1 counter on something. Draw 3 cards. Pretty good value, and he is the only rare. And you could get him in the jump-in event, so he's not super hard to get, especially if you're doing the jump-in events to get some value. I am playing 22 lands. We could go down in lands on this deck, I think, without having too much trouble. But I would hate to just run 20 lands. It's just one of those things where I hate just dying because I don't draw lands. It makes me feel really bad, right? It makes me feel really dumb. But let's get into some matches and see how this deck does. I'll see you there. One thing to keep into mind is we don't want to be playing in ranked with this budget of a deck. At least, you know, an aggro deck that's just meant to get you your daily wins, right? We're going to be wanting to go to play because we're going to be matched with decks with kind of the same rarity costs as this deck. And if anybody's using just like 3 rares, wow. I mean, we're probably going to be facing starter decks a lot of the times with this aggro artifacts deck. And that's kind of our target because a lot of those decks take a little bit of time to get going. And it doesn't take this deck any time to really get going and have a significant presence on the board. So we're going to be taking advantage of how Wizards of the Coast structure matchmaking in play. Less awkward of a hand already. Keep it and Mountain. And we'll go ahead and pass. Get that first Mountain out. Get Patchwork Automation. Get the most value from him. It looks like we're going to draw all mana again. That's fantastic. Foretell. Gross. Patchwork Automation. Pump the Patchwork Automation. Oh, man. Couldn't deal with the speed. That happens a lot when you're playing aggro stuff. Play a Hobgoblin, scoop. Alright, Kumano faces Kakkazan, Reinforced Ronin. Into Voltic Surge and Dragonspark Reactor. Okay. This might be turn 1 pass. We want to get the Dragonspark Reactor. Could have put the Ronin out, swung for 2. Ugh. Discards a card. Okay. Resolve, and I think we get rid of the Smelter. My turn. Dragonspark Reactor. And remember, we're basically using this as removal. Mana. Corrupt Official. That's another discard, right? Ugh. I think the mana. We draw mana. Perfect. Ronin. Apprentice. Kumano faces Kakkazan. Swing with Ronin. Hits for 2. Returns Ronin to hand. I'm going to guess he has a lot more discard. What's called hand hate. We're not going to block any of that. Grave Lighter. Gross. We drew mana. Oh, wait. Okay. Yes, and submit 0. Got it. Ronin. More love for our Dragonspark Reactor. Swing for 3. In turn, pick the Ronin back up. We'll play him again next turn. Unless his hand hate continues to be an issue. Yeah, this is where we discard mana. Knew those manas would be helpful. We're keeping the mana in hand. And Ronin comes out. Swing. You're gonna kill the Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's gonna kill the Ronin. That sucks. But I've had worse things happen to me in my life, so no big deal. Sure it. Really?
Violence is necessary to set things right. You
mana.
Feel this annoyance.
Go here, go here. Yeah. And I think we have to get that Ronin off the field.
Know that I will not abandon my
It does
quest.
slow me down a bit. Grave Lighter. Come on now, man. Come on now. Mana! Gee whiz! What is the deal? Mana! In turn. Not mana! Awesome. First card that is not mana in a while. Forest. Dragonspark Reactor. Don't mind getting that guy rolling. Swing. Down to 6 in turn. Tapped land. Gains a life. Not mana. Awesome. Anything that's not mana is good for me. Rabbit Battery. He's out. He is out. Perfect. I'm going to reduce the manas a little bit. Okay, because I drew mana, I reduced the manas to 20 and removed 1 Kumano faces Kakkazan. And we're going to add 3 Simian Slings. This is a card that's been growing on me lately. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever Simian Slings or equipped creature becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player. Alright. That will solve the mana issues. Watch us draw no mana now. Got a Surge, got a Rabbit Battery, Experimental Synthesizer, Ogre-Head Helm, and Smelter. Tapped land. Rabbit Battery. Swing. Colossal Plow. Cruise 6, 6/3. Whenever he attacks, add 3 white, and you gain 3 life. Until the end of turn, you don't lose mana. This mana as steps and phases end. Alright, seems pretty good. Automation. Swing. Another vehicle, huh? Okay. Experimental Synthesizer. Sokenzan. Cool. Next turn we can stack the synthesizer with the smelter. Huh. Another. Well, that kind of stinks. Okay. Get the Iron Apprentice out. Get the Ogre-Head Helm out. Bam. Down to 11. Haven't seen an actual creature yet, but usually people don't have this kind of board presence on turn 3. Or you're double casting from turn 2 forward. Hey, look at that. You could crew your guys. Well, not these guys. You could crew the prototype. Has a crew too, so he does crew the prototype and swings. Okay. We'll take it. Cool. Voltic Surge on the ace. We are going to sacrifice the Experimental Synthesizer because we can. Opponent does nothing. We get mana. Well, I don't want it. Sokenzan Smelter. And we will pay the 1. I'm going to stack the experimental whatever, the Iron Apprentice, put it on him. Oh, we're going to swing so hard at your face. Here it goes. This is 11, so if he blocks nothing, he dies. Alright, death it is. Death it is. Acceptable. Alright, Reinforced Ronin, Dragonspark Reactor, and Automation. Interesting. Lead off with a Ronin. Swing. Next turn is Patchwork Automation. Automation. Ward 2, so he's got a bit of protection. Civil Servant. Alright. Looks like we have a true magic player here. He's going to have a lot of creatures, it seems like. Let's go ahead and swing with the automation. Takes it. Planes comes out. He might have something to remove the Patchwork Automation. Oh no, gathering wrong. How many does he get? He has 3. 3 in deck. Okay. Good way to get health back there. Ronin. Sling. Ogre-Head Helm. Swing with the Reinforced Ronin or both? We're gonna swing with both. Push the opponent back down to 10. Oh, well, that's not fun. Gonna pay 7? Ronin. Reconfigure onto the sling. I want to see something. Swing. Blocks with the throng. Deals 1 damage. Kills the thing. We have 6. So we have a win condition here. Ronin. Yeah. Rabbit Battery. Iron Apprentice. Kumano faces Kakkazan. Pop him in the face for 1. And no attacks. Next turn, we kill the Dragonspark Reactor, hit him in the face. That should be enough. Gala Greeters. The crossbow gives him... Is that 2 health? It is. Yeah, he didn't want to play. Automation. Smelter, Voltic Surge, Battery, and Iron Apprentice. You can't really ask for a better hand than this. So we'll lead with the Mountain. And I'm really thinking about just skipping away to the opponent. We want that Patchwork Automation to be first artifact down, and we get a tap land, so that's kind of perfect. Alright, Automation. Perfect. Opponent. Opponent. Red. Ooh, Brushfire Elemental. Boy's got some aggro himself. Mountain. Okay. So we could Rabbit Battery. Iron Apprentice. Voltage Surge. And we'll submit 0 here. Get rid of that. Swing. Down to 17. Already. Knowing that he has this Brushfire Elemental makes me think that he's playing an budget aggro deck. Well, that's not budget. Yeah, that's totally fine. I create artifacts. Oh, that's just a construct. We didn't get the thing. But I think I can sack that. Auto pay? Yeah, I can. Ooh, keep that guy out. Keep swinging with me. That's beautiful. Oh, man. Opponent. Please swing with him again. That might be a scoopable scenario. That really might. If he doesn't scoop, he's a braver man than I. And I've just noticed we are facing our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Scale the heights. Evolving Wilds. Alright. Synthesizer. Get a 1-1 on the Patchwork Automation. Sax Evolving Wilds. Not sure why he waited till my turn to do that. Yep, not sure. People do that, though. Yep. Play out the entire hand. Swing with everything except for the smelter. And he says good game. I will say good game. He says good game again. Lets it all through. Yep. That's it. Game. Victory again. That was too short to be the last one, though, right? Too short. Now we get Tatooine. Iron Apprentice and Smelter. That's not bad. Reinforced Ronin. Knocking for 2 points. Turn 1. I like it. We are on the play as well. Awesome. Aggro loves to be on the play. Tapped land. Okay. Yep. Put the Ronin back out. Swing. Iron Apprentice. Awesome. It's kind of like a lightning bolt that you return to your hand. Oh. Patchwork Automation. Let's go ahead and swing. Does he block? No. We're going to have to Voltic Surge that. We don't want it killing the automation. Pass turn. Blue. Jewel Thief. We're gonna Dragonspark Reactor. Yes. Ronin. Yes. Swing with the Apprentice. Aha, he takes it. Wow. He could have a kill spell, but he just goes Seiju's. I think that's good for us. Swings, no blocks. Now, that dude hanging on the battlefield is actually really bad for us, so we will Jewel Thief here. We will sacrifice Iron Apprentice. Kill the Jewel Thief. Ronin. Nice. Rabbit Battery. Both have haste. He's down to 7. I kind of want to draw a land. I know that's weird to say, but I kind of want to draw a land. Sludge monster. Huh. Alright, we'll play the Iron Apprentice. Play the Ronin. Swing for 8. Dead. He tried. He tried. Looks like we found those starter decks. Alright, let's move to a post-game wrap. Alright, so this has been a deck that, you know, it's all decks are always a work in progress because things are going to change. You're going to change the way you think about decks. You're going to change the way you think about certain cards. But a work in progress. We added this Simian Sling, and we did not draw it, but we also didn't draw an obnoxious amount of mana. Every once in a while, I think the shuffler gets stuck on mana or something weird like that. A lot of decks I run 24, 25 lands, but here we're running 20. And we went from 22 to 20 and added some slings. I think this does fantastic whenever you're playing and play, because the way the shuffler works is each card is assigned a value. And based off of that value, they match you up with people that are playing decks that have about the same value as the cards in your deck, or they try to get as close as possible. It's one way to help newer players or, you know, budget players still play and have fun. We're not trying to let the opponent have fun with this deck, and it is one of the most budget decks you could ever make. You could even remove Ogre-Head Helm and add probably one of the draw spells. Something like a Big Scorer or an Electric Revolution. You know, there's other ways that you could be drawing cards. Yeah, so you don't have to necessarily play with the rare if you don't want to. Because you can get this rare and jump in, and I know it's super easy to get in that jump in event, I don't see any reason to think that just having this one rare in here is going to really increase. You're not gonna be popping your wild cards for Ogre-Head Helm, but popping about 500 or 600 coins in order to get him in the jump in event is probably pretty good value for your currency, right? I think this does exactly what I intended it to do. It helps me get my daily wins quickly, efficiently. Like if I'm busy on a day and I've only got like an hour and a half to play, and I want to get 5 wins at least to get maximum value out of the day, I'm playing this bad boy. I'm playing this bad boy right here. Especially if I have a red quest to do down here, and just doubles value down here really quickly, really efficiently. And you could burn through a lot of things. It's kind of like the Goblin deck that I started this profile with. I started with a mono red Goblin deck, and oh my god, you would be able to burn through everybody very rapidly with just the one rare. Let's look at it right now. With just 5 rares, the 4 Hobgoblin Bandit Lords and 2 Goro-Goros, you're able to burn through a lot of players really quickly. But the cool thing about this deck is this deck got me all the way up to Diamond tier. I'm not sure if that artifact deck could do it. I might take it into ranked and try a few rounds, but I'm really happy with its position in this profile of just burning through people really quickly to get the 5 or 6 wins, so that, you know, I could go do something in the evening, or if I during the week get home from work a little late, 6 or 7, and I gotta, you know, get in bed by about 8:30, 9 o'clock in order to get back into work. And it's just easier to do that way. You still get for the most part, most of the value for the day, and it doesn't take you very long to do it. Those decks are beautiful things, and especially if you're playing a free-to-play account and you want to get maximum value every day in the build as quickly as possible, it's smart to play a couple of aggro decks on the side, and then have your mid-rangey stuff for when you actually have time to sit down and actually play this stuff out. I ran a little bit behind on recording and building decks and stuff like that, mostly because I updated my system significantly, and I've been messing with audio, I've been messing with visuals a lot, and I've taken a lot of time doing that, as well as we return to the office. Now that things have calmed down, I can get back to building more mid-rangey decks, which is really where I like to play. But in order to get maximum value quickly on days that you don't have a lot of time to spend, you gotta have some aggro decks, and mono red is always good at speedy, quick wins. But I just thought I'd introduce you guys to the deck that I use in order to get fast wins. That is 100% rotation proof. I built this. I got a couple suggestions online, and then I definitely altered it quite a bit. But now that goblins are rotating out, you know, almost all of this stuff rotates out. So I had to have something to replace it with, and Aggro Artifacts is that replacement. And I want to use this to burn through people quickly, and once I feel like there's better upgrades out there, I will replace some of this stuff with that stuff. But we're coming to that point in the video where I am out of words. So thank you for joining. Like, subscribe, and we're going to come back with more budget friendly content in the client Magic the Gathering arena. Till next time. Bye.